back to the Oates Vic Open. I think that's a tough act to follow just now.
It always is. It always is.
Now, an anniversary today, which you may or may not be aware of. I think it's a year to the day of your hole-in-one, that very special shot there. Was it any nerves on the tee this morning trying to replicate that one?
Yeah, definitely was on my mind. I would have liked the hole to have been a little bit later in the round, obviously a little bit more warmed up and whatever, but it was the first hole at 7:45 in the morning, and it brought back some great memories, and just a shame that the golf course is a bit wetter and a bit softer than it was this time last year, so the ball's not running and bouncing as far, so I didn't quite get, I got to maybe within 10 short of the green this year, so it wasn't to be, and plus the pin was way back, so there was no chance today.
How many times do you think you've watched that video, and how often do you get asked about it? Is that something that everyone always asks you about now?
I think something like, I think there's 20 odd million hits or something on worldwide media around the world. I've probably watched it maybe, I don't know, 50 times or something. So I've contributed.
Now, you've played the Pro-Am out there today. What were your thoughts on the course? You said it's obviously with the rain it's running as well. Yeah, no, we arrived home sort of last Tuesday and it rained so hard on a Wednesday. I've never seen it rain so hard. Geelong was flooded, and it was a very, very big storm, and obviously the golf course copped a lot of that, and so it's softened it a lot since then, and obviously with the rain today, it's just dampened it as well, slows the course down. It's in great condition for considering the amount of rain it's had. The ground staff have done an amazing job to get the bunkers good and playable again, and so it's just going to play a little bit different, a bit softer, and maybe the guys will be a bit more aggressive towards pin locations and flying the ball right at the hole rather than bouncing it 10 or 15 short to stop it at the hole. So just a different strategy. Okay, question.
Given the nature of your win last year, Richard, with Marianne as well, where does that sit in your career with highlights and things that you're to the grave kind of thing?
Yeah, very, very high, because obviously it was such an amazing week for us. We moved into a house early in the week, which was a huge positive for us, and then to both be at the same tournament at the same time, and then to win, and to obviously to have that hole-in-one. It was a remarkable week. It's one of those weeks that everything goes right. It all happened. It was like one of those amazing rounds of golf that you can have, that you hole all your putts all day and you shoot 63, whatever. It was just an amazing week, and I'll never forget it.
So what do you do for an encore?
It's going to be hard to live it up. Unfortunately this year I'm nursing a back injury, so I really will find it hard to repeat that feat from last year. But I'm going to try my best.
The nature of the back injury, when did you pick it up? How serious is it?
Well, it's something that I've done before and something that I've recovered from before, so I'm not overly concerned about that. But it's a shame it's happened sort of within 2 weeks of this golf tournament, and I'm trying to push my recovery to play. So I would have liked to have played the 2 tournaments in the Middle East leading up to this tournament. I would have been in the same sort of form that I was in this time last year had I played those tournaments. But I unfortunately had to withdraw, and I'm as rusty and cold as you could be, and that's going to make my competitiveness, hard to match last year.
How did you hurt your back?
Just literally, I was in the gym training, doing my usual workout, and packing up some weight. I re-racked a weight, a little bit awkward, and twisted and reached with it, and it just let go. Something that has gone with me before, literally as easy as tying my shoelaces up. I've got very tight hamstrings and a lower back as it is, and have been very lucky to get through my career with the makeup that I have, without any real major problems. But this time it's just bad timing, unfortunately.
To go back to where I spoke to Marianne before about Barwon Heads, what do you love about living here and wanting to live here?
Yeah, well, for me it's probably it's a little bit different. You know, I've got family ties down this way. My grandfather was born in this area, in Berrigurra area, and you know, sort of this part of the world. And I've had family in Geelong, and I grew up obviously in the western suburbs. And I've always sort of really loved coming down to Barwon Heads. Since I was a junior playing golf, we used to go to the old course and play on Mondays, and so I always knew of the area. And you know, when we came down here 3 years ago to play this tournament, and was made to feel so welcome by all the locals, and you know, we were so well looked after. It was amazing, and it just helped the decision to come and live down here. You know, and the golf course, the facilities here for us to practice and play are just are the best in Melbourne, I think. You know, a lot of the other golf courses in Melbourne are very closed, very difficult to get into. If you are into the likes of Kingston Heath or Royal Melbourne, great, but you know, if you're not, it's almost impossible to get in. So coming down here was a great option for Mariana and I. She loves to practice, and you know, I enjoy getting out and tweaking with my game every now and again, and it's perfect for us down here.
Sounds like it was always going to happen.
Yeah, well, it's sort of you know, it took us a while to sort of work out where to live in Melbourne. You know, it took me. I was never ever very happy living in Williamstown. I was never happy living in Berwick when I lived there. I was never happy living in any of the suburbs because traffic is just a shocker. And getting to golf courses and doing our job was just, you know, it's an hour and a half in the car either way, just a shocker. So for us to come down here was an easy decision.
I've heard Marianne's accent coming along beautifully. How's your Norwegian progressing?
My Norwegian's is very ordinary. You know, I can understand a couple of words here and there, but you know, and I might say some very basic things from time to time, but you know, using it is so difficult. You know, I listen to Mariana and her family talk Norwegian when I'm over there, and I might pick up a word and go, oh yeah, they're talking about golf. But then by the time I've worked out they're talking about golf, they're on to some other subject, and I'm miles away. So it's very difficult to pick up and follow what they're saying. But you know, the more time that I spend with them, the more I pick up and understand, and you know, it starts to ring a bell every now and again. But you know, gee, it's a hard language.
Can you say thank you very much, Olivia, or something like that?
Tusen tack.
You're welcome.
So I can.
Yeah, sorry.
Just thoughts on, obviously you had the playoff with Nick Cullen last year, both lefties and both world-class players, being paired with him for tomorrow. Thoughts on playing against the guy that you essentially took the crown from last year?
Yeah, no, it'll be enjoyable to play with Nick again. He's a great guy, and I've had a bit to do with him over the last few years of his career and stuff. But you know, again, I'd like to be in better form. You know, to go out there and make it a good match. If I can play tomorrow, and if I can get myself, you know, fit enough to play, you know, I'm probably not going to be in anywhere near as good a form to compete with Nick. But you know, you never know. If I can, you know, nudge it around, it'll be okay. But you know, playing with him is going to be good memories from last year, and you know, obviously we'll talk about it a bit, you know, the playoff and whatever. And but yeah, there's not much I can do about the back. I've just got to do as good as I can, you know, and give it a good shot.
Were there any concerns about actually going to the first team?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I'm just concerned about doing any more damage more than anything. You know, and I've got an osteo appointment this afternoon, and I'm just going to rely on his opinion basically. If he says I'm going to do more damage and set myself back another week or another 2 weeks, when I've got a bunch of European Tour tournaments coming up. You know, I've got a tournament in Malaysia, a tournament in Perth, a tournament in Thailand, and no real time off in between to rest up. So if I can't go to Malaysia 100%, there's another tournament lost. So I've got to really be careful about this decision. You know, if I play tomorrow, I'll know that I'm not doing any more damage, and it's just hopefully going to free up as time goes by. But you know, I just got to wait and see what he says today.